Hi, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Blondest Podcast. I am your co-host, Savanna Boda.
And I am also a co-host. I'm the co-host, actually.
You run circles
Tyler.
around me. This is your podcast. We should call it the Brownest. Since you have brown hair.
It took me a second there. I was like, where are we going with that?
Clearly you're white, but like you have brown hair.
The brownest, yep.
Yeah.
The brunettest.
The brunettest.
There we go.
Yeah.
But I'm not a nasty. The brunette brand manager.
The CFO. CGO.
Yeah, not financial.
Yeah, that's true.
What are we doing today?
We are going to talk all about skincare advancements, technology, why it matters, and how some products might have the same ingredients but don't perform the same. I think this is a really big disconnect that I didn't know any of this until I got into the industry. So I think it's super important to talk about delivery systems, how they affect the efficacy of certain products and give you those results, and why people call medical grade, even though medical grade can be a marketing term, but there's no regulation with it by the FDA. So some brands will say, like I saw the other day, one promoting to be medical grade and it has like no clinical studies or anything. And again, there's no like qualification to be medical grade. It's kind of just a term that was coined for products that have clinical studies and are more scientifically backed and not just like your run-of-the-mill standard formulations that you're going to find at Sephora and Ulta and all of that stuff.
And ones that are like more like physician dispense.
Yeah.
Like more you would in like derm offices or like medical
highly
spas.
More sophisticated formulations, ingredients, and all of that. But okay, so I'm going to talk about one of my favorite things. A lot of people think that their skin is a sponge. It's not. It's actually a shield. It's actually really hard to get ingredients into the skin. That's why I actually did a post recently. Ryan, I can't remember his Instagram name. He's an MD, a dermatologist, and I love his videos. He's just so smart and really pushes the boundaries that I think a lot of derms are afraid to talk about because it can be a weird line to walk. But he was talking about absorption and specifically absorption of vitamin A topical products during pregnancy. People think everything we put on our skin is going to get into our bloodstream, but really small trace amounts, very, very small. And the whole thing with retinoids, the whole issue is this is all a study done on isotretinoin, which is also known as Accutane, which is an oral form of vitamin A. And if you know and have been someone that's on Accutane, if you're a woman, you have to get pregnancy testing a lot to make sure that you don't get pregnant on it because it can cause severe birth defects because it dries out everything in your body. It can cause your bones to deteriorate, muscle mass. I mean, just everything. Some people have issues with their eyes from Accutane because it dries out everything. And
you also have to sign a contract saying you're on 2 forms of birth control.
Oh, wow.
Did you know that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, like you have to, like abstinence is one option, but like you have to say like, you have to check like your 2 options, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
so like
it's serious.
condoms and birth control are like abstinence and or like whatever. Like you have to.
How can you have abstinence and condoms?
I don't know, but I'm telling you, like it was in the contract.
That's crazy. But yeah, so it was that, and they just kind of made an umbrella term like every retinoid or any retinol derived product is not safe for pregnancy, which isn't 100% true. There was a study that was done on women who were pregnant and didn't know they were pregnant using retinoids, no issues with their babies. And on top of that, too, the amount of vitamin A that could be absorbed topically, you actually get more vitamin A from your prenatals that you have to take to build your baby. So anyways, that being said, always ask your doctor. I'm not going to give medical advice. I personally used all my products while pregnant with Cyrus because of my knowledge on delivery systems and how the skin functions. But again, too, the other side of me is like, it's only 9 months. Like, why risk it? Like, it's not that deep. Skincare is not that deep. Like, the health of your baby is always going to come first. But I got approval from my OBGYN and I asked her first and she was fine with it. So just ask your doctor and just do your own research on it. Don't just read what you see on the internet, including me. So just, fact check and do your due diligence at the end of the day.
And like you said, like if it makes you nervous, like
just don't do it. Yeah. It's not that hard. Just don't do it. But anyway, our skin is not a sponge. So when we try to get certain ingredients into the skin, it is actually really difficult to do this. That's why delivery systems are so important. So if you see me on my Instagram and I'm promoting a peptide cream and you're like, oh, like I don't want to get that one. It's too expensive, or whatever, I'm going to go to like my local Sephora and get a peptide cream. You may not be getting the same results. There are a lot of different chains of peptides and they function very differently, first and foremost. And also, peptides are a very large molecule, meaning it's really hard to get them in the skin and not just sitting on top. So why I love Interfuse technology from Skin Better is it actually found a way to wrap a really good lipid-friendly coating on this molecule so it can get into the skin and also relaxes the top layer of your skin so that it's easier to penetrate. So kind of like a lubricant for your epidermis.
We love lube.
So yeah, it gets in there and gets to where it needs to go. So not every product is going to do that. Carrying and supporting ingredients are super important. So that's why looking at the formulation and the delivery systems is going to be so much more important than just reading and rattling off ingredients on the back of a product. You really need to know how it's working. And that's why I really appreciate brands and companies that do clinical studies, because anyone can claim anything. It's like the wild, wild west in aesthetics. Like you can say anything you want to say, which you really can't, because some people are held, I mean, it's just a liability at the end of the day. Like you can't say this product treats acne. Like you can say it can help the appearance of blemishes. You can't say this product, these are all drug claims. If you say this can help treat rosacea, that's a drug claim. You have to say it can help with the appearance of redness. So Skin Better does a really good job of dancing around this and like being very politically correct when they're speaking, because they care about their reputation and obviously don't want to get into issues with the FDA. So I, as an esthetician, I'm able to say these things because it's not my skincare line, and I know from first and foremost that it does help with acne and it is going to help with rosacea, but certain brands can't say that, or then it's a drug claim. Yeah. So just know that. But then you'll see random brands that pop up on TikTok Shop or whatever that are like, get rid of your acne in one day. Like, no, you can't say that.
Have you ever seen those like crazy, like
the
reels
videos?
or whatever,
Yes.
where it's like the clay little thing and like they have huge blackheads and everything and they wipe it away and it's like the most glass skin you've ever seen.
Because I would have bought that.
Oh, for sure.
I'm
Absolutely.
like the best consumer. I love to consume.
Yeah. Capitalism was made for you.
Oh, for sure. I'm like the easiest sell. It's crazy. I'm like, yes, I do need that. But anyway, delivery systems are super important and how they work in the skin. Same thing with like vitamin C. This is one that people are always like, do you have a cheaper vitamin C? And like, trust me, guys, I know skincare can be expensive, but I would rather you just not use a vitamin C than waste your money on a $6 one from Whole Foods or from anywhere, because it's not doing anything. So you just wasted $6. Like, if you can't afford the real deal, like honestly, I would just find a good antioxidant serum and not try to mess with it, because vitamin C is super hard to stabilize. That's why it's expensive, is because it goes through a lot of testing. And if it's not expensive, it's because they're literally getting a cheap sourced L-ascorbic acid. They're not doing what they need to do to protect that molecule. It's a very fragile ingredient. I mean, it's light sensitive. It can oxidize easily. So a lot of times it's already been oxidized. It's not active and you're putting an inactive ingredient on your skin. So it's not really going to do anything. Alto or Alto Advanced, either one. I love both. I used to be an Alto girly and now I'm an Alto Advanced girly because it's the new one. And it has an extra antioxidant called pyrrolone quinoline quinone, PQQ, which is actually an oral supplement that they found a way to put in a skincare ingredient. So this helps with intrinsic aging. So most vitamin C is what they're supposed to do is fight free radical damage. So technically how this goes is a free radical is going to steal an electron from your healthy skin cell. And when it does that, it turns it into a free radical. So that cell has been damaged. When that happens, you get more redness, fine lines and wrinkles, dullness, more pigment, etc. So when you have an antioxidant serum on your skin, instead of that free radical stealing an electron from your healthy skin cell, your antioxidant is going to donate an electron to that free radical, so it doesn't need to like steal it from your healthy skin cell, and it can neutralize that free radical completely and ablate it, murder it, die, danger, death. That's so funny, because if any one of my faciality girlies are listening to this, I was so tired the last day we were at the meetings. And I don't remember what question she asked, but I just called out death and everyone laughed. Which was true.
Which is true.
It was death. Okay. I don't know. Something happened. She's like, what happens if you do this? And I'm like, death. And she was like, yeah. anyways, so that's the whole shebang about that. But if you're someone that's used a vitamin C and you're like, oh my God, it irritates me, it causes irritation, try THD, tetrahexyl decyl ascorbate. Always, every time I want to say tetra, I'm like tetramethylhexadecyl cysteine, which is lipid serums complex. So it's tetrahexyl decyl ascorbate, which is an oil-soluble form of vitamin C. It's more stable, it's less irritating, and it's great for acne-prone skin. And that's what's found in Alto and Alto Advanced. So with Alto Advanced, you're getting 360 protection from environmental free radicals and those that our body produces and just genetics. So I really love that. That's a really amazing delivery system.
Yeah. And like a super amazing advancement in skincare because, like she said, all the other vitamin C's you're going to find out there are only, if they even work, first of all, are only targeting external free radicals that you get from like pollution
UV, and, all of that, not like what's happening genetically. So love that. And then I also last week talked about Trio, and Trio is a moisture treatment. Like I said, a lot of moisturizers just sit on top of your skin and then you take them off and like you're not feeling hydrated or you're not feeling moisturized. So I like this because it actually gets into the skin and goes where it needs to go and does what it needs to do to actually help with transepidermal water loss and fill in those gaps of moisture levels and hydration levels in the skin while rebalancing the whole thing. So basically, I am a Skin Better stan because their delivery systems are amazing. And I've gotten a lot of like cool insider scoop by being able to work so closely with the company and just how they acquire like technologies and things like that. So I think it's just really interesting because, you know, you always think there's just all these like chemists in a lab doing all this stuff. But a lot of times like these big brands will go out and like bid for these huge technologies and then incorporate them and bring it back to their lab and like incorporate these patented technologies. So we love technologies and patented technologies. I also love Hydrinity has microfusion technology, which is amazing. So their Prelude cleanser, what it's doing is it's actually attaching to the reverse polarities of free radicals, which is amazing. And it's going into the skin to pull out all the junk while infusing in good ingredients. So it's kind of like a hydrofacial in a bottle is what I like to say, because it really helps a ton with getting all the junk out and then infusing in those electrolytes and amino acids and things of that sort.
Slime.
Yeah.
Maestro is so cool. So Seth Rodner, he is the man that acquired this technology. He was really the person that pushed behind Maestro, and he calls it AI technology for your skin because it really troubleshoots everything. It knows what you need before you need it. And what it is plant adaptogens. So they called it Maestro, and you love this because you are a musician. Maestro, you know, the conductor always is telling his little peoples what to do. So a conductor, a lot of people
this one.
Yeah. So because a maestro is like what you would call a conductor in a symphony orchestra or something similar. So you would be like maestro. Like that's just what the conductor, the music director's title is almost. And so his job, obviously, you have 116 musicians in front of you. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of work to get them all on the same page and to be, because he's the one person whose job is to balance the entire orchestra and make sure that when the second flute needs to be heard more than the basses on the other side of the stage.
He's balancing it so that it can be in harmony.
Yeah, exactly.
Slay.
So how does Maestro tie into that?
Same thing. So like all the functions of the skin, whether it's erythema, excess oil, dehydration, it's going to help balance everything out. So I say she's beauty, she is grace, she is balance for your face. And it helps a ton, like we said earlier, with pore size, rosacea, which again, they can't claim, but I can. My favorite thing for papulopustular rosacea is clearing serum with Maestro. Like the results fucking eat. And then if you sprinkle some Alto in there, oh my God, you're going to be a new woman.
Yeah.
It's seriously the best. So Maestro truly is a game changer. It has a ton of plant adaptogens that target homeostasis in the skin, and homeostasis is a fancy term for balance. So when your skin is in balance, everything is going to function better. Your products are going to look better. Your makeup's going to look better. Your skin's going to be healthier. It's not going to go through all of that weird oiliness and dryness. It's just going to help everything be good and be slay. Let's talk about Airlays.
I was going to throw exosomes at you.
Oh, we can do exosomes. Okay, so exosomes are a hot topic in the industry, and you guys need to be careful because there's a lot of snake's oil, and I used to actually use one that...
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. And I think it's hard for us as estheticians and also consumers because we don't know a lot of these things. Like, we weren't trained to read ingredients or understand studies. So you really have to dive deeper and really just berate these companies to get the truth because they'll say about anything. There are a lot of exosomes that are not stable out there. There's a lot that are just not even active by the time they get on your skin. This is why I love Plated. It was conducted in the Mayo Clinic. They have the research. The results speak for themselves. Like, you see the results. You know it's working. And it's platelet derived, which is our body's first line of defense. So it's very healing. It's ethically sourced. And I just love Plated exosomes. Like, I call this topical microneedling because it literally plumps up collagen and elastin, acne scars and marks, you name it.
No, the last brand that Savanna had that was exosomes, you didn't see
the results
what
like
you
that.
wanted to. And with Plated, like, it's actually insane. Like, she has virtual clients, and that's what's so hard is Savanna has a ton of virtual clients. And for a lot of people for a long time, you know, everyone wants a quick fix. And whenever she's able to get them clear quickly, but if they had extremely inflamed
Scarring
acne,
too.
like they had scarring and really pigmented, I mean, you guys know the type of acne, I'm sure, but like where there's just
I think
so
that's
much.
the hardest thing too, is when people are like, once they get their acne clear, they're left over with all this PIE, and like they're like, oh my God, my skin looks horrible. And so Intense Serum has been really helpful to expedite those results and get that PIE gone and plump up the acne scars from home without them having to go get microneedling. Now, of course, I always recommend to microneedle too for scarring, but for those that, you know, aren't ready to do that yet or just want to enhance their results and speed up healing, Plated.
Period. I'm trying to think if there's any other product technology. I mean, we've talked about it all the time, but we can talk about Alpharet.
I love Alpharet.
I know you do. That's
Alpharet
like your child.
Is my child.
That was your first child.
That was, well, Nala was my first child, then Alfred, and then Cyrus.
Yeah.
Those are like my three musketeers right there. So Alpharet is actually ethyl lactyl retinoate. So it's a compound. And what it is lactic acid conjugated with retinoic acid. Retinoic acid is the strongest and most potent form of retinoids on the market. Retinoids is an umbrella term. So you have retinol, retinaldehyde, retinol esters, all of that jazz. And all of those have to be converted to retinoic acid before the body can accept them. So you want something that's already in its most stable form, which is retinoic acid, and that's what Alpharet is. But the issue with retinoic acid, like tretinoin, retin-A, that's all retinoic acid. It can be very irritating, compromise the skin, cause redness, dryness, irritation. So when they put lactic acid with it, which is an alpha hydroxy acid that is actually very hydrating. Lactic acid has really good benefits for hydration. When they put that with it, it actually, you know, made it not only more effective, but also reduced any kind of downtime and basically counterweighted. Is that a word? Counteracted? Counterpart? I don't know. But like, you know, when something's like this and then you put something on it, it balances it out.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to say. Anyways, balanced out the properties of that without diminishing them so that you can still get those results, but not over dry and be red and inflamed and angry. And it has ceramides, antioxidants. Like, it's so much more than just a retinoid. So I love Alpharet.
And it has won
so many awards.
Because
like her and Simone Biles, I think, have the most gold medals.
That's so funny.
Wait, I should definitely make a post about that. That's hilarious.
The Simone Biles of skincare.
Yeah, I'm texting you that.
But yeah, she's a staple in the Boda household.
Yeah. Period.
Do you already talk about interfuse technology?
Yes.
And then the last one I can think of is Hygenity's HAs.
Oh my God, I love their HAs. Like, they literally reinvented the wheel of hyaluronic acid. It's crazy. Like, everyone was like bored of HA because it's just like there.
It's in everything.
Yeah.
It has been for years.
Yep. But the way that they've done this is with a low and high molecular weight And so it's hydrating the top of the skin while the deeper layers of the skin at the exact same time. So you get that immediate hydration to plump up and make you a juicy grape, and then long term to really help with transepidermal water loss. And they also have Agastache mexicana that lowers your skin's temperature. So great for inflammation, post-procedure, super healing. I mean, it's seriously the best HA. I've used so many HAs in the past, and this one just does the job. And when they put the HA complex that they have patented with Vivid Brightening Serum, which is their brightening product, it actually drives that pigment inhibitor deeper into the skin, because it's like basically hitching a ride with that HA molecule and going deep down and getting where it needs to go. That's why people are seeing such amazing results with age spots and melasma when it comes to using Vivid Brightening.
And like, it was super cool. We went to a dinner that was hosted by the founder of the company. And it's really interesting because the product was actually originally only used in surgical settings.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was for, like, surgeons would use it on scars and stuff like that. And it would come in like giant just tubs. And then like, they kept on asking Keith, who's the founder and owner of the company.
They started seeing results, like the skin surrounding the wound too looked better, and they were like, "What the heck is this?"
And so they were like, "How can we like get this for at-home use? Like, can you bottle this? Blah 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 blah." So like, he was never even intending on making a skincare company with it. It was for like wholesale to hospitals and stuff like that, and it was just so interesting to hear his story about it. And then he showed these like before and afters that were absolutely insane. It was like this person who got into I was getting there.
Oh.
You're the worst. You hit the punchline of my joke before I got there.
Sorry.
But
sorry.
It was like this guy, and you couldn't tell who it was, and got in like a super horrible like motorcycle accident or ATV or something.
Yeah. He's from Louisiana with some sort of like motor vehicle.
Yeah. But like his whole arm was like tore up face. And like face, and like had a huge scar. And like
you can't even tell.
Yeah, like I have met him multiple times now, and I would never know that he went through that, because whatever his products do, it literally was holy water. Mm-hmm. Like he was dunked into the river of youth.
I know. It was crazy. And another thing I want to mention too is the hyacin active from them, because I always get these like snarky comments of, why would I pay $60 for hypochlorous acid when you can get the Tower 28 or the Skin Smart? I get it. I do. But it also comes down to stability and how long it's going to be active. So not going to name brand names, but there are a couple on the market that are actually really not that stable, and also they don't come out as fine. So you're not getting it everywhere you need it to go. You want a really fine mister. So that comes part of it too. You want it to spray evenly. But the process of manufacturing, it's in a really good facility. They also make sure that it's going to stay stable, the formulation, so that you don't have to keep repurchasing it, and you're just spraying an active hypochlorous acid on your face. So
fine.
I love it. Let's talk devices. Let's talk about one of my favorites, the Aerolase. So there's a lot of 1064 lasers there on the market. And the reason I love the Aerolase the most is because their crystal, which is like the power source, is actually housed in the handpiece instead of the actual device box. So it's not having to go through a box, through a tube, into your handpiece, and then to the skin. That causes more heat and more energy, right? So when you have it in the handpiece, it's going directly into the skin, so you're getting better results and less heat in the skin. So that's one of the reasons I love the Aerolase technology. And the cool thing about the Aerolase too is it's working in the skin, not on the surface. So it's really, like I always say, if there's a trash can and there's trash all around the trash can, instead of just hitting the little residual fallout of the trash can, it's literally hitting the can itself to destroy the can, the source of the problem. So I love it because it's going to help with regulating sebum flow, so oil levels. It's going to help reduce inflammation, kills bacteria, produces collagen and elastin, helps repress those melanocytes so that they're not so active, and it's super healing. I mean, it's seriously my favorite device.
Yeah, Savanna, I think she uses it almost every single day on, and not
random
obviously
body
the same.
Parts of
me. Like she'll have a bruise on her right knee, and then she'll have a scab or something, or like something.
I'm literally a walking injury.
Yeah, so like I swear every day that I see her walk out and hear the Aerolase machine turn on, and I'm like, something happened.
Yeah, I'm zapping something.
But like it's just funny because I can't imagine our practice without it now.
I know.
Like,
and it was such a
staple.
scary decision.
Yeah.
And I was like, am I ever going to use this? It's like on 24/7.
No, like I think you have, if we have 14 clients in a day, like probably 10 of them are getting an Airlaze done.
And besties, if you guys are an SD and listening to this and you're interested in getting an Airlaze device, I have an event coming up on September 4th here in Dallas, right before Aesthetic Next. So you can make it an educational week. You can come to my class and then go to Aesthetic Next, which is really great for estheticians that want to dive more into the medical side, working for derms and plastics and just more advanced protocols. I love IECSC, but it's definitely more of like a spa show than a med spa show. So I really like Aesthetic Next because it brings in some higher level ingredients and procedures and just ways of thinking. So highly recommend it. The class that I'm doing is going to be all about like everything that I use in clinic, how I get my results, and all the brands I love. So Skin Better will be there.
Face Reality and CO2 Lift Pro.
Yeah.
So I mean, really, it's an amazing opportunity for you to really see how we function in our clinic, because Savanna's going to talk about obviously why she loves the Airlaze, how she uses the Airlaze, but also how she uses it in conjunction with other treatments, say the Skin Better peel or acne peel or acne protocols from Face Reality and post-procedure with CO2, and really just learning in depth about not just Airlaze, but all the brands that we love. And we're going to have representatives and the companies from everyone. And there's going to be, gifts from every brand. And yeah, it's a full day immersion experience. You're going to be able to sign up to receive an Airlaze treatment. And then there's a fun little cocktail after party
VIP.
So definitely come. It's $200. I think it's like $199 for registration.
Yeah, it's super affordable.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the same cost as like a class at any trade show.
And you get like all day with me.
Yeah, it's not an hour-long class. It's literally full day. And it's at one of the newest hotels in Dallas.
The Virgin Hotel.
The Virgin. It's so nice. Savannah hasn't had a chance to go over there yet, but I went over and it looked like it's so pretty.
So fun. So snag your spot because our seats are selling super quick and I don't want y'all to miss it.
Yeah, and we'd love to meet you guys. I mean, you guys are our family. The ones who listen to the podcast are the real ones. Y'all are the ones we want there.
Yeah, you got to come. All right, besties, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. We love you and we'll see you next Monday.
Mwah.